Content warning. This video is not made for kids. It contains fictional depictions of mental illness, fictional violence, and fictional abuse. The fictional characters in this story are heavily afflicted by the things that I have spelled out to you, and some of the inner monologue seems to suggest that they should be getting hurt like this, but that is absolutely not the case. Me portraying this abuse or mental illness is meant to show the audience how the illness or abuse feels inside of the mind of the afflicted person, so they can sympathize and maybe stop themselves from following a similar pattern in the future. Be careful if you are easily triggered. You're most likely about to enter the mind of someone who is heavily afflicted by illness and abuse. Viewer discretion is advised. The idea appeared to Moon during a game of hide-and-seek, something that they have been engaging in far more frequently as of recent. Murray's therapy sessions never lasted all day, and the free time that they had in between his visits was usually spent with DJ. The twin animatronics had finally been declared stable enough for Murray to actually return home like the other managers, his presence substituted by DJ, who was told to both keep watch of them and keep them company. Because of DJ's size, most activities were difficult to engage in, but one that they had grown fond of was hide-and-seek. It was impossible for DJ to succeed as a hider, so usually he was the one seeking out Sun throughout the entirety of the daycare. The spots that proved the most challenging and most fun were the ones inside of the play place. The intricate obstacles and complicated mazes provided so many hiding places that Sun never needed to use the same spot twice. And for DJ, it was like something out of an I Spy book. He would peer through the nets that flocked around the play place, his spotlight eyes zipping around in their sockets as he searched for any signs of his playmate, circling the structure while the twins eagerly waited to be found. Or at least one of them waited. Right now, Moon couldn't touch the plastic structures, smell the rubbery floor mats, or even feel their body tilt and shift and breathe in the tiny spot that they had wedged themselves into. He was on the inside of their head for now, only a numb, senseless viewer of what was going on, watching through Sun's eyes and listening through Sun's ears. He didn't like it in here. Neither of them did. It was easy to lose their sense of self if it had been too long since they had had a turn with the body. Moon didn't feel like someone reclining in a chair watching something on a TV. He felt like thoughts. That was the best way to describe it. He had no body in here. He was nothing but a ball of emotions, all of which were overwhelmingly negative. It was a little more controlled now, a little less intense, all thanks to Murray. But still there, still heavy. Moon listened to the massive clanking movements of DJ outside of the play place, watching his shadow pass over their level. Just watched. Only sat and watched. And that was when the idea happened. He didn't tell Sun yet, not until DJ had caught him. DJ's giant white pupils lowered, replacing the image of his piano key teeth that had been poking through the crisscross support beams before. Sun went completely motionless, closing his rays over his face to block the glow of his eyes, but the flurry of triumphant notes made it clear that DJ had finally caught him. Sun's rays flared back open, a rushing giggle rising from him despite his defeat. DJ played another few victory chords, lifting his hands from the play structure and lowering himself back down to the ground floor with a massive thud that echoed through the daycare. Sun wriggled his way out of his hiding spot, unfolding their spindly body until he was free. This time, Sun had found a space just beneath an obstacle beam that was only about 1 foot off the ground, the crack nestled in a corner that made them invisible unless a person stood at exactly the right point. Sun slipped down the various rope ladders until he finally reached the bottom of the structure, stepping out into the rest of the daycare. The rainbow colors were all still there, the jewel blue fake sky and cotton white clouds, the clinking slide that fed into the rippling ball pit, the golden tower that held their rooms at the very tippy top. The only disturbance in the display were the patches of white where the paint had been rubbed off by Sun's incessant cleaning. They were planning on trying to repaint it soon, but they weren't sure when it would be a good time to ask their money-stressed boss for a cosmetic repair. It was technically still empty. There were no children filling the jungle gyms and playground sets. But having DJ standing there seemed to fill up the place in a way that kept the loneliness at bay. Sun and Moon had actually been doing pretty well today. They hadn't cried yet, and DJ hadn't needed to remind him that he deserved to charge himself last night. So Moon had really thought that springing the question on Sun now wouldn't be a big deal. So he did. Instead, Sun screeched to a halt. "What?" Sun yelped. "Moon, what?" Moon's building excitement faded a few shades. "Why? What's wrong?" Moon asked slowly. Sun's thoughts shook out half-baked phrases. No, can't, don't want to, soon. "Murray's gonna be back from lunch soon," DJ signed to them, unaware of what was going on in their head. "Do you want to play again?" "Oh, yeah," Sun chirped, switching to ASL. "Yes, one more round." Sun's excessive enthusiasm was backed up by an emotion that Moon had been sensing from his brother for a while now. It was bubbly and pink, with undertones of fizzling sweetness that spilled absolutely everywhere. Moon was pretty sure that he knew what the emotion was, as they hadn't felt that way for anyone else, but up until now, Moon had not brought it up. Still, he had the right to feel annoyed when their mindscape was made a mess by Sun's throbbing heart. DJ laughed, signing, "Okay then, you really like these games, don't you?" Sun paused, nervous. "Sorry, it's just, maybe it's my programming. I know the games are kind of childish, but..." No, it's alright," DJ reassured him. "If it has any chance of lifting your spirits, I'll play hide-and-seek with you all day." "You don't mind?" "Of course I don't," DJ signed, tilting his head with a grin. "I think it's kind of cute, actually." Before Sun could overthink the word cute, DJ crossed the padded blue floors and stuck his face into the double doors of the exit to ensure that he couldn't see where Sun was going to hide next. Since he couldn't count to 10 aloud, DJ began to play a scale, each note used as a number. Normally, Sun would race to his next spot, but this time he stayed stranded in the middle of the daycare, still snagged on what Moon had said. Why would you ever want that?" Sun asked incredulously, leaving the interaction with DJ behind. I just thought it would be good for both of us," Moon replied, still a bit ruffled up. "I mean, don't you want to live your own life?" He purposefully nudged into the swirling pink emotion, making Sun put up a shield to unsuccessfully hide away that part of him. DJ kept counting, the cord nearing its end. But aren't you scared of what'll happen?" Sun whispered. "We have no idea what it'll be like." "Well, of course it'll be scary," Moon replied, "but we should at least try. We can't stay glued together forever." But... Sun seemed incapable of translating his thoughts into words, leaving Moon to sense his emotions through the open door between their mindscapes. Confusion, fear, building anxiety. A lot of anxiety, actually. And then, something else. Something darker, deeper than before. Just as Moon tried to peer closer, the door slammed shut. Moon reeled back in surprise, then clambered closer, pressing himself against the barrier, trying to listen. Tightly locked. "Sun, what's wrong?" Nothing, just thinking." "Sun, just tell me why you don't want to do it," Moon pleaded. "Maybe we can work this out." "I never said I don't want to," Sun said nervously. I just... Dying lights, shifting colors. That was all Moon could really see, the taste of terror leaking through the cracks. What was going on over there? I just don't think... Though Moon obviously couldn't feel it, Sun nearly jumped a foot in the air at what seemed to be a touch from behind. He whirled around to see DJ looming over them. It was quite an abrupt appearance, and Moon was surprised that neither of them had noticed the huge thumping footsteps getting closer. What are you two talking about? Are you okay?" DJ signed to them. Moon, unfortunately, couldn't answer on his own volition. He waited, thinking that Sun would quickly explain, but instead, Sun just fidgeted with the bells on his wrists, his rays pulling in tight from apprehension, avoiding eye contact with their big friend. Come on, tell him already," Moon pushed, nudging against his brother's troubled thoughts. "It shouldn't be a big secret." But I'm not..." Sun spluttered before falling silent, not giving an answer. DJ tilted his head, a stern look on his face, seeming to know that he was being left out. Sun eventually began to explain in ASL. We were just thinking of an idea. Moon thinks that it would be a good idea to separate. DJ blinked a few times. What do you mean? Not us from you, Sun said quickly. Me and Moon, separated into two different bodies. He laughed a bit at the end, shaking his head. It's not actually something we're considering. We're just talking aloud. Moon sensed something from his brother, something that wasn't just pulled from his twitchy body language and nervous grin. His mindscape was receding from Moon's, shielded heavily and flickering in rapid bursts, making it harder to read him. Moon grew suspicious, an invasive thought banging in the back of his head. He quickly tried to stuff it down. Son, I'm being serious, Moon said to him, trying to gather closer to him. Just think about it. It would help both of us. I'm trapped and useless, and you're stressed and overworked. With both of us out, we'll solve both of those problems. We could both take care of the kids together. What is Moon saying? DJ asked on the outside world. You need to remember to let him talk. I know, Sun said, backing up a few steps and scratching at the edges of his faceplate. Moon says that he wants to do it because he thinks that it'll help both of us. I'll get more assistance during the day, and he won't have to stay inside all the time. Oh, okay then, let's do it. DJ jumped up immediately. What are we sitting here for? Let's get to work on that. But, wait, there's no way we can get enough money to do something like that, Sun said quickly. They would have to make an entirely new body, and the procedure, it could cost a fortune. Even though Sun was obviously trying to sound logical, Moon could feel an out-of-place yellow comfort emanating from him, his gears and wires relaxing at the sight of this roadblock. Maybe I could try and raise the money? DJ signed, gears cranking in his head. What do you mean? I'm stable enough to work again, DJ explained. The Showtime auditorium is out in the rest of the mall. What if I play shows by myself at night? Are you sure? DJ nodded. I might not have the full band, but I can still make up music lines to play in their place. Maybe it won't be a full show, more of a nightclub or something. I really think I could do it, as long as I work on filling the other spots. Excitement sparkled up his body with every word. Suddenly restless, DJ got up, signing, We should go tell Briar. Wait, right now? Of course, DJ signed, already heading off. If you want to do this, I gotta get to work as soon as possible. Wait, hold on! Sun ran after DJ, waving his hands around and signing frantically for him to stop. DJ halted once he noticed him, already having one hand opening up the doors. Sun gasped for breath, signing to him. But, DJ, wait, please, what if... DJ lowered himself, seeming to realize that he was going too fast. What's wrong? Sorry, I was just excited. It's okay, it just... Sun rubbed his face, the prickliness getting sharper against a moon. It might be dangerous. What if one of us dies during the procedure? We have no idea what sort of things could go wrong. Well, we won't know the risk factor until we ask, DJ pointed out gently. Still, Sun didn't budge. The flickering was getting brighter, giving almost the effect of a strobe light, making it even harder to see through the haze. Moon tried and failed to push through, feeling sickness welling up. What was up with him today? DJ nudged him playfully, getting Sun to look back up at him. It's okay if you're scared. I would be scared too. But I really think that this is a good idea. It could really improve both you and your brother's quality of life, and anything that'll make you happy will make me happy. You could finally get some extra help with the kids. But I don't need help with the kids, Sun signed back desperately. I'm fine on my own. DJ actually laughed at that, the noise like a piano being jumped on by a happy dog. Okay, no you're not. Moon's described work days vividly enough for me to know that you definitely need help. Sun began another pathetic denial, but DJ cut him off with, no more buts. Look, it'll be okay. There's no harm in asking, and if they just tell us that it's not gonna work, then I guess it won't work. But we won't know unless if we go ask them. You really need to start learning that needing help isn't illegal. That was a part of it, Moon could feel, but not all of it. You'll be okay here on your own? DJ asked, straightening up again. Sun nodded, rubbing one arm with the other. All right, be back soon, DJ signed, beginning the tumultuous process of wriggling through the daycare's double doors. Sun stared after the exit long after DJ had disappeared, traces of hope beginning to flake away to the point that even Moon could feel it. One of the many downsides to living in the same brain as your brother is that there are absolutely no secrets between you. For example, Sun knew that when bad parents came to pick their kids up, Moon unrealistically fantasized about teaching them a lesson, just as Moon also knew that Sun had developed a huge crush on DJ over the last few weeks that they had lived together. But now, with a much more serious subject matter, things were getting more dire than just uncomfortable honesty. Neither of them were acknowledging it outright, but they were fighting inside of their shared head. Sun had gone rigid on the outside, while Moon tried and tried again to worm his way through the door between them. The struggle was quite an odd thing to describe. They could not use a single physical movement against each other, but they were still grappling to get the upper hand. Sun's mind grew colder and colder through the door, the flickering of his light getting even more frantic as he tried to think of other things, anything except the reason why he was acting so weird. Inevitably, Moon managed to get a taste of the emotion through the cracks. Once he had felt its imprint, it sent Moon falling down into a dark pit. Why are you afraid of me? Sun flinched at Moon's question, tugging on his rays in a nervous habit. I just don't really see why we need to separate. It'll just be a big, expensive risk, and there's no real reason to do it. I can take care of the kids on my own. Everything is fine how it is. Somewhere in the back of his head, Moon had been hoping that maybe his assumptions about his brother's opinion was wrong, but now things were just getting darker and lonelier. You don't trust me, Moon whispered. Sun was quick to frantically fix that, saying, No, of course I trust you, Moon. You're my brother. I'm just worried about the kids, you know? What if... The echoes at the end of that sentence reverberated through their mindscape along the edges of the door. Moon felt a boiling red haze rising inside of him. What if what? Sun's mouth was kept locked tightly shut. Again, he continued to pull away from Moon the closer that he got to reading his emotions. I don't have the chip anymore, Moon sighed in frustration. Do you really think that I would hurt them for no reason? Moon, you're my brother. I love you unconditionally, Sun said, stroking his rays feverishly. You've always been gentle with the kids before. I know that you love them. You didn't answer, Moon said bleakly. Son, do you think I'm going to kill a child? Another long pause, filled with jabbing from both of them. Sun unable to get away and Moon unable to catch up. Awful images from Moon's nightmares began to assault him, making him tremble. Every time he closed his eyes, he had been under siege of nightmares all about the lowest of the low coming to take his children away, scratching at the walls and tugging at the door handles and yanking away little ones just when they wandered too close to a dark corner. He had visions of losing them, finding them dead, the culprit getting away scot-free, and how he would have to explain to their parents what happened, why they couldn't bring their baby back home. Moon had been haunted by the chip's nightmares for months now, maybe even a whole year. He would have given anything to protect his kids, even his own life. He would have never killed them. Never. Especially with the chip gone. Sun didn't have any right to be thinking these sort of things about him. And yet he could feel it. He could feel the accusations slipping through Sun's facade. Monster. There's a monster stuck in my head, and I'm scared because I just made him mad. Look, Moon, I don't want to hurt your feelings, Sun eventually squeaked out. You already are! I'm sorry, Sun said, desperately clutching at the sides of his face. No, stop apologizing! Moon snapped, knocking hard against the door and catching another glimpse of the pent-up emotions rumbling just beneath Sun's surface. If you hate me now, just tell me. Don't try and hide it away. Don't try and pretend that nothing's wrong. I hate that you always act like you're perfect and everything's fine and we could just move on. Just stop pretending that you forgive me. I'd rather you be honest than lie to my face. Sun threw his arms wide, saying, I'm just trying to think of what would be best for the children. The system that we have now works fine. If you're outside of my body, I won't be able to step in and... You know... That statement only made it all exponentially worse, making Moon feel like a torch that had been doused in gasoline. Oh, yes, because only you know what's best for the children. You think you're the smartest brother, you think you're the bravest brother, you're the perfect brother who's never thought a negative thing in his whole life. Sun knows how to do everything right, and Moon only knows how to mess things up. He seethed for several long moments, trying again to jostle the door open, ultimately failing. Sun groaned, holding his head in his hands, both of them sharing a headache as their mindscapes grated against each other unnaturally. Moon tried to collect himself, the anger still flooding through him. It was disorienting to be feeling mad but not having a physical body to display it. His breathing didn't get heavier, his fists couldn't ball up, he couldn't scowl or frown or do anything. Instead, it was just colors, pressure, and sparking emotions, his mind completely smothered by his brother's. Moon was so sick of being in here. Being on the inside felt like he was suffocating at best, but at worst, it felt like he just didn't exist. The chip is gone, Sun, Moon told him when he was sure that Sun would stew in silence forever. I don't have those problems anymore. You don't have to keep me locked up in here. No, you do still have a problem, Sun said, his fingers digging into his upper arms. You spiraled on opening day just like before. You almost hurt someone. How do I know that you won't do it again? What if something goes wrong? I won't be able to stop you if you're outside of me. You don't have to stop me, Moon yelled. You just have to trust me. Why don't you trust me? Finally, Sun's mask of submissiveness cracked apart. I did trust you! Sun burst out, the force of it startling Moon. I trusted you for 2 minutes, and by that time you were already wrapping Sophie up and handing her over to a bunch of horrified guards like she was some common criminal! Those memories came back to Moon, making him hesitate. That poor girl is traumatized for life! Sun hissed at him, a fury that Moon wasn't used to lashing out from his brother. Sure, she didn't die, but she is never going to recover from the trauma. And I won't either. I'm the one that took the fall for it. I'm the one that they blamed and electrocuted for hours on end, yelling at me that I shouldn't have let you out at the end of the day. It wasn't part of the routine. I shouldn't have let you out even if it was after dark and I was exhausted and I just wanted to close my eyes for a few minutes. Moon wanted to say something, but his anger had shriveled up beneath Sun's blinding scarlet mindscape. Why did you do that to Sophie? Sun went on, all of the bottled up feelings releasing themselves. You were supposed to keep her safe. You were supposed to tuck her in and let her nap until her mom came for her. But you didn't do that at all. You tricked me and jumped on her because you thought she was one of Afton's capture bots. He threw his hands wide, his voice taking on a shrill pitch. What is wrong with you? That doesn't make any sense. You attacked her for literally nothing. Why would you think for even a second that, first of all, Afton is somehow still alive, and second of all, he would be capable of making a robot so hyper-realistic it bled when your hooks cut into her? The accusations struck something deep inside of him, making him swell with resounding indignation. Oh, yes, it's all Moon's fault. I wasn't under the influence of a mind-controlling chip. It was just me being the big bad guy for no reason, so you just had to swoop in and lock me away forever. Oh, you think you're so much better than me, don't you? I don't think I'm better than you, Sun said. I'm just trying to protect the kids. The stupid chip is gone! Moon hollered, feeling another twinge of pain between them. I promise I won't do it again, son! Shouldn't that be enough for you? No, it's not! It's really not! Sun laughed a little bit, even though not a thing in this was funny. Both me and you know that you still feel the chip! Murray's therapy has been helping, but it's nowhere near gone! If you were safe around kids with the chip removed, you wouldn't have even considered attacking them on reopening day! Moon wanted to make some snarky comment, but nothing came to him. I just don't want you to hurt the kids again, Sun sighed. If we just stay together, everything will be fine. It's not that much to ask. That's rich, coming from the guy who isn't currently being held hostage in their own head, Moon growled back. I'm not going to attack them. You just need to trust me for once and give me a second chance, instead of acting like you're perfect and good and always right. Oh, you're just so heroic. Thank goodness the Archangel Sun can hold back his demonic brother and save us from his tyrannical rule. What? Sun stammered. I don't think I'm an angel. What are you... No, Moon is just too far gone, Moon ranted on. Instead of getting him actual help, let's just set up a bunch of generator lights. Let's just keep him locked up for an entire month while the good, heroic twin gets to prance around and mop the floors and pretend like I don't exist. Whatever composure Sun had been trying to uphold shattered again with the force of a grenade. You have no idea how much I suffered during that month! Sun practically screamed. Me holding you back! I wasn't trying to be heroic! I was fighting for my life! They were going to scrap you, Moon! If we made one more mistake, if I let you out for just a second, they would either put you down or put both of us down! Moon was not truly ready for what Sun was telling him, but he just kept going and going. I was scared, Moon! I was terrified that they were gonna euthanize us! Everything had to be perfect! I had to fix it! I had to be good and save you, even though you were doing everything in your power to stop me from doing that! Do you even care about how much you hurt me during that month? I couldn't close my eyes. I couldn't go to sleep without you taking over. I stayed awake for 29 days straight, and the whole time you were just screaming at me and threatening me and giving me migraines and raving about how much you were going to kill the next person that steps foot in the daycare. I didn't enjoy that. I wasn't thinking to myself, wow, I'm so strong, I'm in control, I'm such a good guy. I was thinking, please just let me sleep. I can't do this. I can't stay awake any longer. I need to sleep. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Sun had to stop because he had begun to cry hysterically. It was such an unnatural noise to hear from someone like him, each breath strained and filled with hiccups as he tried to suppress it. Moon was left in stunned silence. The memories of when the daycare was closed felt like a tangled up wad of matted hair, clogging and sticking to everything. Before, he'd only actually felt the emotion of Sun ignoring him and keeping him locked inside and not listening to him. Only now did he actually begin to realize the impact that the experience might have had on his brother. Sure, he knew that he had not slept, but 29 days... It hadn't felt like that long for Moon, but for Sun, who was outside and awake for every single agonizing second, Moon hadn't looked back on it. He wanted to forget, and Sun hadn't mentioned it before now. He didn't know how bad it had been for him, how much he had been hurt. An outpouring of remorse flowed out of Moon, a deep, sickening blue color dragging him down into sticky tar. He was still mad, but it was getting mixed up and knotted together, dissolving into the inky darkness. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to raise my voice, Sun began to say, almost at a whisper now. It's not your fault. Oh, come on, don't do that, Moon said, low and hollow. If you really don't trust me outside of your body, you can ask the technicians to kill me instead of removing me. No, Sun said immediately, because of course he did. No, I don't want you to die, Moon. I just think it's not a good idea to separate. I'm not ready. Moon sighed bitterly. Let's see what DJ has to say about it then. Giant footsteps made the ground beneath them shake, signaling to Sun that it was time to turn to the entrance of the daycare and face the news that their roommate had brought them. Woo! Okay, so first of all, I am sorry that I missed last week's episode uploading. I have literally no excuse for it. The only explanation is that I just literally forgot about it. Like, there was too much stuff going on in my life at the time, and I just completely forgot about posting it. It just blanked completely in my brain. So I'm sorry about that. I lost my streak. But anyway, so we should be getting the next episode in 2 weeks as long as nothing goes wrong. So we are starting school soon. School for like high schoolers and middle schoolers, and from what I understand, a lot of my audience is that. So I hope that you guys that are starting school again have a good time and it's not too awful and you're able to get through it. And if I have any audience members that are in college like I am, I also hope that once you get to college, if that starts soon for you guys, or if it's in another week or month or whatever, whenever it happens, I hope that you are able to, sorry, I'm tired, I just woke up from a nap, but that's why I sound kind of dopey, but I hope that everything goes okay for everyone with whatever education part you're on. You're able to do it, okay? Because you were able to do it before, and it wasn't that bad. You were able to do it, and you have to do it, because otherwise you won't be able to get a good job, and then you won't be able to get a good future, and you won't be able to provide. Okay, that's the lesson. I don't know where I'm going with this. Okay, anyway, what I was meaning to say was I hope everyone goes well, even though this is a stressful time, and I know that a lot of my viewers are like middle school, high school range, and I know that everyone's sad because school is coming back. I just hope you guys are doing well. So anyway, the next episode's coming in 2 weeks. Thank you for watching this far. Do remember to like and comment about your favorite part. Thank you for watching the series. I love you guys. I think that's pretty much it. Sorry for hanging on a cliffhanger with this episode. I'm really excited about what I'm gonna do with Sun and Moon, and also DJ, because DJ's gonna be part of this whole thing. Whoops. Sorry. Again, I just woke up from a nap. So, bye. Thank you guys for watching. I love you. Woo!